The two great challenges of the world, who can solve them? Xiefeng. July 2, 2025. The first challenge, to create an ant, or a single blade of grass. The second challenge, to bring together 80 people from entirely different cultural, religious, ethnic, and life backgrounds, and have them live joyfully under one roof, eating from the same pot, and coexisting in peace. To make the elderly, the middle-aged, the young, and the children all live happily, freely, and blissfully together. Who can do this? With the guidance of higher beings, humans may one day create silicon-based life. But can they create carbon-based life? They cannot, because they do not possess the source of spirit. Many great scientists have emerged throughout history, including Nobel laureates. Yet who among them has created even a single carbon-based life form? No one. In 5,000 years of human civilization, what religion, what culture, what emperor, what philosopher, politician, sociologist, or so-called great figure has ever created a model of life so heavenly that all long to emulate it? None. Why not? Because certain essential elements have always been missing. The theories are flawed, and the practice incomplete. Even Robert Owen's new harmony, beautiful in its inception, collapsed in less than 4 years. The one who can solve the first challenge must be a god. The one who can solve the second must be a messenger of the greatest creator. Don't believe it? Try it yourself. How do you see this way of elder care? Xiefeng. July 19, 2025. In the natural course of life, everyone grows old. As the years pass, physical strength, vitality, and spirit all gradually decline. Many fall ill, some lie bedridden, needing someone nearby for care and support. If no one is there to care for them, the final years can be filled with loneliness and sorrow. Some elders pass away in silence, their absence unnoticed for days. Only when their bodies begin to decay and emit a foul smell do others become aware. Few on this earth can say with certainty that their twilight years will be joyful, fulfilling, and serene. In the past, people relied on their children for elder care. But with the advance of urbanization and the young leaving home for distant jobs, even those with children often cannot count on filial companionship. In reality, today's young and middle-aged are already overwhelmed by the pressures of survival. Simply staying alive each day drains their sweat and soul. It's not that they don't wish to stay by their parents' side. But their hardships are unspeakable, the heart is willing, but strength is not enough. When children can no longer be depended on, those with means turn to nursing homes. But to speak frankly, a nursing home often becomes a place to wait for death. Such a life holds no flavor, no joy, only helpless resignation. It is not a path chosen from the heart, but one taken when all other doors are closed. Even with filial children, hired caregivers, or diligent staff, the bitter truths of old age are hard to voice. Those who truly pass their final years in peace and joy are very, very few. But imagine another way of elder care. A community where elders chat joyfully with peers each day. Surrounded by middle-aged adults, young people, and cheerful children who bring laughter, life, and boundless energy. Where cooking, laundry, and cleaning are lovingly handled by others. Where elders with energy can contribute what they are able. Each month brings evenings of music, laughter, and joyful games. Brothers and sisters of the soul gather, their laughter echoing like bells in the heart. Bedding and clothes are washed with care. Kind souls assist with bathing. When walking is no longer possible, warm meals are brought to the bedside. Always with a smile, never with complaint. And when life draws to a close, gentle hands handle everything with grace and love. Chanting and blessings guide the departing soul. In such a setting, most who pass are bound for heaven. Here, death is no longer a thing of fear, but a joyous threshold, longed for in peace. What do you think of such a way of elder care? Do you believe such a life could truly exist on earth? Let me tell you the truth. This life has already existed in this world, for more than 10 years. But can every elder enjoy such a life? No. Only those whose souls have been purified can dwell in such a paradise of elder life. Ignite the sacred light within. Xiefeng. June 26, 2025. Only by igniting the sacred light within can we enter the blissful homeland. Where is this blissful homeland? It is the Elysium world, the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world. How can we search for and come to know the true existence of this homeland? Through our own personal experience and direct perception. Once we have truly felt and experienced it, all becomes clear. How do we experience and perceive it? There are 3 paths. One path is through sacred union with the opposite sex. When lovemaking reaches its peak, the ecstasy of climax opens the gate to revelation. Another path is to behold supreme beauty, the majestic landscapes of rivers and mountains, breathtaking paintings and beings, and soul-stirring music. The third path is to set foot upon the journey of pilgrimage. The pilgrimage is the path to the blissful homeland, prostrating with every step, moving forward toward the sacred place within one's heart. But how do we recognize the sacred place our heart longs for? First, one must ignite the sacred light within. And how does one ignite this sacred light? By wholly offering oneself, body, heart, and soul, to the one whom one reveres with awe, trust, and devotion. By relinquishing the self, by dying to the self. At the very moment of complete surrender, when nothing of the self remains, the sacred light within is instantly lit. Once this sacred light is kindled, it marks the beginning of the pilgrimage. How does one walk the path of pilgrimage? The most vivid example is that of the Tibetan pilgrim, who, without hesitation, travels thousands of miles, prostrating every 3 steps over gravel, rubble, meadows, streams, rivers, snowfields, mountains, and open plains, advancing toward Lhasa or the sacred Mount Kangrenbok. When the knees are torn and bleeding, and the hands frozen stiff, one continues forward, supporting oneself with the elbows. Whether faced with wind, clouds, rain, snow, wolves, insects, tigers, or leopards, one presses on without retreat, leaving no path behind to turn back. On the pilgrimage path, there is no doubt. No fear. No glittering lights or worldly indulgence. No status, wealth, or reputation. No death, only transcendence. No attachment to what lies behind. No clinging to the mundane world. No worry, no excitement, no sorrow, no resentment. The heart remains still as calm water. The hardship along the way, and everything seen around, stirs not even a ripple within. In such a state of body, mind, and soul, one has already arrived at the blissful homeland. Thus we see, to set foot upon the pilgrimage path is to embark on the journey of a lifetime. It is not about whether one reaches Lhasa, or Kangrenbok, or Mecca. If the body dies while on the path, that is the most beautiful and ideal conclusion. For true life has already returned to the blissful homeland. In this new era, AI will gradually take over the management and stewardship of Earth. Humankind must learn to live more and more in the world of spirit and soul. And the sign that one has truly begun the pilgrimage path is this. They have become a Chanyuan celestial. All Chanyuan celestials are walking on the path of pilgrimage. The best path to heaven. Xiefeng. July 19, 2025. If one lives a full and smooth life to the age of 80, they will have lived for 29,200 days. 1/3 of that time is spent in unconscious sleep. Another 11 years are consumed in infancy, early childhood, and youth, years in which autonomy is limited. This leaves no more than 16,800 days of true conscious and self-directed living. So how can one reach heaven within these 16,800 days? If one's life does not lead toward heaven, and if after departing the human world one still cannot arrive in heaven, then any way of living is but animalistic. Those who do not live with heaven as their aim are, in essence, not truly human, but rather beings driven by instinct, pitiful worms crawling through life, moved only by impulse. Any form of life that does not lead to heaven is unworthy of celebration or admiration. To deny the existence of heaven is as foolish as denying the existence of one's ancestors. To be unaware of heaven is like not knowing where color ritual ignorance.
Ask those who have lived for over a year in the first, third, or fourth branches of Lifechanyuan's second home, practicing strictly according to Chanyuan values.
They will affirm with certainty, heaven is real, because they have come close to it and tasted its fragrance. There are many roads that lead to heaven. But to walk one of them completely within the narrow span of 16,800 days, one must choose the best path. Otherwise, life will end while the journey is still incomplete. So, where is the best path to heaven? First, we must understand what qualifies someone to enter heaven. I can clearly tell you this. Anyone who meets the following three conditions is eligible for heavenly life. All debts have been repaid, and worldly ties fully resolved. Enough merit has been accumulated. The soul has been purified, and the quality of life has reached perfection. This is easy to understand, but very difficult to accomplish. Without certain favorable conditions, it is extremely hard to meet these three requirements, because we only have 16,800 days. To complete such profound work within such a limited time is nearly impossible. Why? Because in the process of repaying debts, one may unknowingly fall into new ones. In accumulating merit, one may also create new karmic burdens. And in purifying the soul, one might unknowingly stray from the path. I have surveyed all the various paths and ways recorded throughout human history, and in the end, I discovered. Only by replicating the model of the 1,000-year world of heaven here on earth. Only by allowing people to live within this structure. Can one easily and naturally fulfill all three conditions. Therefore, we have found the best path to heaven. Become a Chanyuan celestial, and live in the second home established by Lifechanyuan. This truth is crystal clear in the hearts of Chanyuan celestials. But the world does not know. And it is hard for the world to know. Walking the path of celestial beings and Buddhas, a life beyond adversity. Xiefeng. July 20, 2025. Where there is ego and self-interest, life is filled with adversity. Where there is no self, the journey is a panorama of beauty. When fear takes root in the heart, adversity follows at every step. When fear dissolves, even a prison becomes a radiant landscape. Attachment brings adversity. Letting go and flowing with destiny, even the edge of a cliff becomes a stage for dance. When desire and greed dominate, heaven turns into hell. Without craving or attachment, even prison becomes heaven. Adversity or ease, both are reflections of the heart. When the heart transforms the world, one becomes a celestial being. Thus, the celestial being knows no adversity. To understand cause and effect is to taste sweetness in all things. To ignore cause and effect is to burn with resentment. By tasting the bitter fruit, one dissolves the roots of karma. The Tao is just and impartial. Heaven's net is vast and flawless, none escape reward or retribution. Meet all encounters with joy, nothing happens without cause. To become a celestial being or a Buddha is to shift one's scenery at will. If the material world turns harsh, move into the spiritual world. If the spiritual realm is under siege, abide in the soul. The soul's world is untouched by others, untouched by circumstance. A boundless space where thought roams free. In that sacred inner world, all disappointments in the outer world become illusions. Whether hungry, imprisoned, or threatened by demons, the soul remains free. Even if a demon presses a gun to your forehead, you smile and say, "Go ahead. Thank you for fulfilling my journey." To be unafraid of death, to long for it, is to see beauty along every step of life's path. To fear death and flee from it, is to live as a slave and regret your days. As the Heart Sutra declares, when Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practiced deeply the Prajnaparamita, he perceived that all 5 skandhas are empty, and transcended all suffering and distress. Relying on Prajnaparamita, the mind is without hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Free from inverted thinking and illusion, this is the ultimate nirvana. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gone, gone, gone beyond, gone far beyond, awakening, hail. Let the mind and life grow ever simpler. Xiefeng. June 5, 2025. Laozi said, "The great way is very plain. The great way is the way of the greatest creator. The way of the greatest creator is the way of nature. And the way of nature is very plain." What does very plain mean? It means natural, smooth, clear, and simple, not complicated, not extravagant, not deceptive, not reckless. To simplify the mind and life is to walk on the great way. Walking the great way means becoming one with the Tao. When you are one with the Tao, you become the Tao itself. To become the Tao is to enter higher life spaces and begin living the life of heaven. Seeking simplicity may seem ordinary at first, but the result can be unexpectedly profound. This is the subtle truth that by selflessness one fulfills oneself, and through egolessness one completes the true self. Let's take food as an example to explore the deeper meaning of simplicity. A person can live a long and healthy life just by drinking boiled water and eating steamed cornbread and pickled vegetables. Look, survival is not difficult. If you let go of soft drinks, alcohol, and all sorts of dishes and delicacies, doesn't life become very simple? Then why crave coffee or dream of lavish banquets? Why feel bitter or upset when seeing others indulge in exotic cuisine? Why let ridicule or scorn from others disrupt your inner peace? If your heart is firmly rooted in the Tao, you will live a simple life. And what will that lead to? Most likely, a high-quality life beyond others' reach. The issue is, people struggle to persist in simplicity. Most desire a life of luxury and indulgence. And what's the result? In the end, they become ordinary people stuck in mediocrity. The simpler the mind, the more at ease one lives. The more complicated the mind, the more likely one is to turn into a demon or monster. Don't believe it? Look at many who study Buddhism, they often end up twisted and confused. Practicing Buddhism is actually very simple, just let your true nature shine. But instead of doing that, people get entangled in endless conceptual knots. Or take Wang Yanming's idea of investigating things to attain knowledge. It sounds so lofty, yet after all the investigating, what is really gained? Often, nothing, people just turn themselves into strange beings. And what is investigating things? It's simply reading the revelations of heaven, reading the sky, the earth, human beings, and phenomena, and from these, perceiving even a trace of nature's wisdom. That alone is already remarkable. From the perspective of simplicity, all long-winded writings that try to preach or moralize often lead people astray, into the realms of demons and monsters. The more you read or listen to them, the more likely you are to lose your true nature and become something neither fully human nor fully ghost. Being human is simple. If something falls from the sky, rises from the ground, or is given for free, if it wasn't earned through your own effort, don't take it. If you can follow this, how could you still be easily deceived? How could you still fall into traps woven by demons and monsters? Drink boiled water. Eat pickled vegetables and steamed cornbread. Live freely and at ease. Why chase after all the unnecessary frills? If you no longer want to live as a human but wish to become a Buddha, it's simple, let your true nature express itself. If you want to become an immortal, even simpler, repay your debts, sever worldly ties, accumulate a little merit and purify the impurities in your soul. That's all it takes. To make everything simpler is to walk the great way. To make everything more complicated is to follow the demonic path. Anyone who incites you daily to think about money and chase after wealth is undoubtedly acting under demonic instigation, and such a path inevitably leads to hell. Everything is fixed and determined. Xiefeng. June 9, 2025. The universe has operated in perfect order for billions of years. It has not collapsed or burned itself out because everything within it runs according to predetermined programs. At the core of these programs are numbers, the mathematical laws that govern all things. These numbers are fixed, they do not change with time or space. Since the numbers that sustain the sun, the moon, the stars, mountains, rivers, fields, insects, fish, birds, animals, and all things are fixed and unchanging, the future of all things is likewise determined. Those destined to reincarnate will surely reincarnate. Those destined to become celestial beings will surely become celestial beings. From this, we can see that one destined to starve will certainly starve. One destined to be swept away by a flood will surely be swept away. No force can stop a person bound for hell, and no demon can prevent a person destined for heaven from reaching it. We can also observe this truth in human nature, a person's innate nature is extremely difficult to change. Even if gods, Buddhas, celestial beings, or saints were standing right beside them, they could not alter that person's nature or fate. As the saying goes, it is easier to move mountains and rivers than to change one's nature. In truth, it is harder to awaken a person than to awaken an animal. The future is fixed, just as winter is always followed by spring, summer by autumn, and an apple tree will always bear apples, never watermelons. Human beings will one day die, this too is certain and unchanging. No matter how one struggles or strives, those destined to enjoy blessings will enjoy them, those destined to suffer will suffer. Understanding this brings great peace of mind. If someone wishes to hang themselves, let them. If someone wishes to drown themselves, let them. If someone chooses to be consumed by depression and anguish, let them. If someone seeks to become a celestial being, let them play and explore their path. Everyone beats their own drum and acts out their own role. There is no need to become entangled, nor to scheme to save or indulge others. Simply be an observer, not a participant, even toward your closest family and friends. Observe them, there is no need to correct or encourage. The future is fixed and determined, human efforts can do nothing to change another's destiny. Even parents cannot alter their children's futures, nor can children change the fate of their parents in the slightest. Since the future is fixed, why be anxious? Why worry or fear? What is meant to come will come, there is no avoiding it. What is meant to go will go, there is no stopping it. If you do not yet understand these words, you are still a human being. If you do understand these words, you are already a celestial being. The Ninth Insight, Chapter of Celestial Cultivation, Article 13. Xiefeng. June 9, 2006. Throughout human history, certain unexplained phenomena have emerged, one of the most intriguing being the collective disappearance of the Maya civilization. What caused the sudden vanishing of the vast majority of the Maya people? Anthropologists, historians, archaeologists, and scientists have all struggled to find a definitive explanation. Today, I will unveil the truth: the Maya people collectively ascended and became celestial beings. You may ask, is that possible? I assure you, this is a fact. Whoever masters this insight can become a celestial being. In South America, there is a historical site where ancient texts, commonly known as the Peruvian manuscripts, have been discovered over time. Among these manuscripts lies the Ninth Insight, which I will now briefly translate for your reflection and contemplation. When primitive humans came along, we continued this evolution unconsciously by conquering others, gaining energy, and moving forward a little bit, only to be conquered ourselves by someone else and lose that energy. This physical conflict continued until we invented democracy, a system that did not eliminate conflict but transformed it from a battle for material resources into a battle of ideologies. We are bringing this whole process into consciousness. We can see that all of human history has prepared us to achieve conscious evolution. Now, we can increase our energy and experience coincidences consciously. This carries evolution onward at a faster pace, lifting our vibrations even higher. Our destiny is to continue to increase our energy level. And as our energy level increases, the vibration of the atoms in our bodies also increases. This means that we are becoming lighter, more purely spiritual. As we humans continue to increase our vibration, an amazing phenomenon will begin to occur. A whole group of people, once they reach a certain level, will suddenly become invisible to those who are still vibrating at a lower frequency. To people on this lower level, it will seem that others have simply vanished, but the group themselves will feel as though they are still present, only they will feel lighter. When humans begin to raise their vibrations to a level where others cannot see them, it will signal that we are crossing the barrier between this life and the other world, from which we came and to which we go after death. This conscious crossing over is the path shown by Christ. He opened himself to energy so deeply that he became so light he could walk on water. He transcended death right here on earth and was the first to cross over, to expand the physical world into the spiritual. His life demonstrated how to do this, and if we connect with the same source, we can head in the same direction, step by step. At some point, everyone will vibrate highly enough so that we can walk into heaven, in our same form. The more beauty we perceive, the more we evolve. The more we evolve, the higher we vibrate. The ninth insight reveals that ultimately, our increasing perception and vibration will open us up to a heaven that is already before us. We just can't see it yet. Final thoughts. That concludes my translation of the ninth insight. I hope that the knowledge I have shared will strengthen your will and confidence in pursuing the path of celestial cultivation. Ultimately, the journey of transcendence must be discovered by oneself. The path is yours to walk. Those who weigh gains and losses are not celestial beings. Xiefeng. July 11, 2012. The difficulty of survival compels us to weigh pros and cons in all matters, ultimately choosing whatever benefits us the most. If given the chance, we all hope to have the best of both worlds, keep multiple options open, and even with a raincoat, we'd still want an umbrella, just in case. Everyone longs for the life of a celestial being, yet when a true celestial arrives to lead us into paradise, we hesitate. We overthink, we waver, we doubt, and we are reluctant to let go of what we already have. We choose the safest path. We assume the celestial will always be with us, that the sun and moon will always shine, so we dawdle, look around, and feel no urgency. If we don't seize the present moment, everything will slip away. The past cannot be retrieved, the future cannot be grasped, only the present is in our hands. To waste the present is to waste the future. If the present is ugly, the future will be ugly, if the present is beautiful, the future will be beautiful. One's state of being at the moment of death determines their future after death. Therefore, the present shapes the future. If you do not accumulate virtue now, when will you? If you do not let go now, when will you let go? If you do not become a celestial now, when will you ever become one? Life is short, time flies, and no one can foresee the next second. Heaven may bring sudden storms, misfortune may strike at dawn or dusk. To abandon the present and pin hope on tomorrow is to chase an illusion. We must never expect miracles to fall from the sky. We must not dream of a bright future arriving effortlessly. Those who are greedy and selfish will never enjoy a radiant future. Those who are often jealous, complaining, angry, or resentful will find only suffering as their companion. When we become smug over unearned gains and take things for granted, believing that everything can be easily attained without effort, that is precisely when we are squandering the blessings accumulated from past lives and planting the seeds of future suffering. Those who constantly weigh gains and losses are not celestial beings. A person who is overly rational often lacks spiritual insight. A philosopher cannot become a celestial. A pure scientist cannot become a celestial. A shrewd person cannot become a celestial. Even a clever person who always thinks 3 steps ahead has no affinity with the celestial. Those who are highly educated and eloquent, well versed in both Eastern and Western classics but unwilling to live out what they've learned, are not destined to become celestials. Those who spend their days theorizing, juggling abstract concepts, and talking endlessly without working or creating, are certainly not fit to be celestials. Celestials live by their spiritual essence. Those who live this way do not weigh gains and losses. They do not consider personal benefit, life or death, honor or disgrace. They never ask, "Is this good for me? What will others think or say? What if I get tricked? What if I have nothing to eat tomorrow? What if he breaks his promise and leaves me? What if I can't survive?" Celestials simply express their innate nature and consider nothing else. Die. So be it. Starve. Let it be. What's the big deal? Everyone has a death sentence, only the execution date differs. In truth, those walking the celestial path understand that all things operate within the Tao. No matter how clever or wise a person is, they are like frogs at the bottom of a well, unable to grasp the full picture of the Tao. Rather than striving anxiously or lamenting their lack, rather than racking their brains in endless calculations, it is better to follow the Tao with ease. There is nothing worth chasing so desperately, nothing worth envying, nothing worth exhausting your mind over, and nothing that cannot be let go. Flowers bloom in grace and freedom, unburdened by worry. Birds soar and nest freely in the forest, so carefree and unrestrained. Should humans be any less free than flowers and birds? Heaven never cuts off anyone's path. Nature nurtures all things, and the Tao governs all. When we weigh gains and losses, we inevitably lose one thing while gaining another. If we profit in this life, might we lose blessings in the next? If we take advantage of others, might we suffer loss from the Tao? If we greedily consume animals, might we diminish our spiritual essence? The good may be deceived by people, but never by heaven. The wicked may be feared by people, but not by heaven. Rather than being clever, it's better to be simple. Rather than being complex, it's better to be pure. Rather than scheming, it's better to act straightforwardly. Rather than weighing gains and losses, it's better to hand your life to the greatest Creator and let the Tao guide your path. Whether in movement or stillness, in urgency or ease, one remains in the Tao, free and unbound. Following the flow of destiny, unburdened and at peace. Hard to become a celestial or Buddha in the secular world. Xiefeng. September 21, 2012. Buddha is nature. A Buddha's heart clings to nothing, is free of all attachments, without ego or form, naturally in harmony and at ease. A celestial is also nature, flowing freely with fate, following the rhythm of life, unbound and unrestrained, one with the Tao, graceful and ethereal. It is difficult to become a celestial or Buddha while living in the secular world, because it is nearly impossible to achieve a state where the heart is without attachment or dwelling. The soil and conditions are lacking to enter a state of egolessness, formlessness, and natural ease. People are caught up every day in the toils of food, clothing, shelter, transportation, birth, aging, sickness, and death. Entangled by worldly affairs, it is hard to live freely and spontaneously, flowing with the Tao. One's consciousness and thinking are bound by traditions, social norms, and moral codes, making it nearly impossible to merge with the Tao or achieve a graceful, carefree state. Only with the right soil and environment can a seed germinate, grow, blossom, and bear fruit. Every being possesses Buddha nature and celestial nature. These are the seeds of Buddhahood and of becoming a celestial. But for these seeds to sprout and flourish, a fitting environment and proper conditions are essential. Without such an environment, one cannot become a celestial or Buddha. And the secular world simply does not offer the conditions required for such transformation. A heart without attachment or dwelling is the foundation of celestial and Buddha nature. Can such a state be achieved in the mundane world? Not even remotely. In the secular world, survival is the first concern. And the moment we strive to survive, the heart becomes attached and burdened. Worries, fears, anxieties, and afflictions flood in. How, then, can one maintain a heart free of dwelling and attachment? Egolessness, formlessness, and ease are the core traits of celestials and Buddhas. In the secular world, everyone owns something, very few can let go of all they have. Without total relinquishment, it is hard to reach a state of selflessness and formlessness. Once one is burdened with responsibilities and duties, once one is entangled with matters of daily life, eating, dressing, aging, and dying, how can one find harmony and ease? How can one become a celestial or Buddha? Flowing freely with fate and moving unbound and at ease is the basic state of celestials and Buddhas. But in the secular world, one must toil and struggle for survival, constantly troubled and anxious. People are bound by their possessions, families, beliefs, and rules. How can one flow freely and move with ease? Even if one escapes to the ends of the earth, the mind still clings to countless ties. How then can one be truly carefree and unrestrained? To be one with the Tao, graceful and transcendent, is the fundamental state of celestials and Buddhas. But to merge with the Tao, one must live by nature, Xing, not by the calculating mind, Xian. In the secular world, people live through their minds, not their heavenly nature. They are endlessly enchanted by the illusions of the world, always striving, always distressed by gain and loss.